So I don't feel good right now, but in this video I'm gonna go over some stuff that's really pissing me off. So for one thing, I'm gonna have to die a slow freezing death because of fucking greedy assholes' decisions. For instance, my father purposely fucked up my Social Security when he got caught. Now, if he didn't make that decision, I wouldn't have to die in the fucking cold right now. What did my father do? Well, he got caught misappropriating funds. He got caught. Me, my mother, my father, DMH worker were sitting in a circle inside the housing project that I was living in. Now, what did my father do? He stole money illegally. I was supposed to be using that at the program to pay my rent. But instead, my father decided to keep it for himself, and he got caught. So then the Department of Health and Human Services worker looked at me and said, "Your father is going to have to pay you that money for the year." I said, "Oh, that's 980 times 12. That's 980 times 12, as well as, because my father's a douchebag, he made sure I would never collect Social Security." You know what? I'm going to go over what happened just this year. I'm pretty sure my father and Alice have definitely destroyed my Social Security again, and I probably will never be able to receive it with the fucking shit they're doing. Now, I'm going to go over this. So, this was at the age of 19. I find out my father was stealing Social Security, misappropriating funds when I was supposed to be using it for the rent at the housing project I was living in. So, what did I do? The worker gave me a piece of paper. He said, "Your father will have to give you that money. You got to sign this, though." Instead of signing it and taking that money from my father and letting them bring him to court and having him pay for his mistakes like he should be doing, you know what? My father's too good for mistakes. He doesn't ever make mistakes. To him, he's allowed to steal my money all he wants because that's his money. He paid taxes. Because my father pays taxes, he can take his son's Social Security, even though the state and the federal government said, "No, that's not how it works." But my father's mind, everything is his. He can do whatever he wants. He can take whatever he wants. He can go back on deals. He's not a man of his word, and we know that for sure. So, anyways, instead of signing the paperwork and having my father get charges against him, instead of having him pay me 980 times 12, I look him in the eyes. He looks me in the eyes. And I say, "Dad, as long as you act like a father and you make sure you do everything so I keep my Social Security, do everything you can to make sure I keep my Social Security. If you do that, I will not sign this paperwork and I will get you off the hook." My father looks me in the eyes, says, "Yes, I will do everything I can to keep your Social Security going." Okay, he looked me in the eyes, I stuck out my hand, he stuck out his hand, and we made a binding agreement. Okay, now, what did my father do to help me with my Social Security? He hired a lawyer, that's it. That's all he did was hire a damn lawyer. Now, what else did he do? Last minute, he canceled the lawyer. That way I wouldn't get my Social Security. I'm not kidding. First of all, I got thrown out of my housing because my father was stealing that money and I was supposed to be paying it. So I no longer had a home. I was supposed to be getting my own apartment after that place, but my father screwed all that up. Okay. So, what did he do for Social Security? He hired an attorney. Well, good. Then that's helpful. Except for my father canceled my attorney on the day of court, so I wouldn't have any attorney whatsoever for court, and I would have to ask for a continuance, and then the letter got messed up, and I never found out when I was supposed to show up. So, once again, my father fucked me good. Now, the second time around with my Social Security, what happened? I didn't know what I was doing, but I kept on calling. I reopened. They said they were going to send me a letter, but I was using a friend's mailing address. I was going into the Social Security office every week, asking them when this court date was. Well, guess what? BBP Realty stole my mail and used it to evict a David G. I know this for a fact because David G came with his eviction paperwork and said, look at this, Zach, your social security letter is in here. And then I went down to BBP and they gave me the letter 2 months after the court date. 2 months after the court date, I get my social security letter. Why? Because BBP Realty thought it was perfectly fine to steal my mail and use it to evict another person. So there goes my social security that time again. Once again, I'm fucked and I have to live in the woods. Great, great. Well, I come up with another plan. I'm going to hurt myself and work. I'm going to fall down on the side of the road. I'm going to get bloodied up. Maybe I'll never be able to use my arms and legs again, but I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit treating myself, and I'm going to go to work while trying to get my social security. So I move up to New Hampshire, and I do that. I get sober. I don't drink. I don't do anything. I'm working really hard at jobs. I go to get my social security filled out. Oh, great. They want my aunt's and my father's phone number. I warn my person. Now, this worker is working with my social security, but she wants my aunt's and my father's number. Now, they're married, by the way, together. Now, I tell her that's a very bad idea because they're probably going to mislead you and get me killed. But here you go. Here's the phone number, and I give them the phone number. And then a bunch of weird shit happens again. Oh my God, it's almost like my family is trying to get me killed. I'm pretty sure of it now. I'm pretty sure my fucking father wants me dead. I mean, he made so many deadly mistakes to get me killed. So now I have to fucking live in the woods again dying. I have to die for other people's choices. And I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of being hurt in my knees because of my father. I'm tired of having having my back teared up on the cement. I'm tired of being in the woods, freezing to death, and having people scrape me up to bring me to the fucking emergency room. All because my father didn't keep his word. If I had my social security, then I could go to the doctors for my neurology problem. I would be doing what I need to do. But I can't because my father couldn't keep his word. He's not a man of his word. Not only that, he's doing really bad things. He's making bad choices. They're gonna get me killed. Whenever somebody calls them, you think they are like, oh yeah, Zach is really hurt. Yeah, he probably does have a neurological disorder. He wasn't very steady as a kid. Oh yeah, he was very underweight. He really did look like an abuse victim. Maybe my wife really did do something to him. I don't know. Do you think that's what my father said? No. My father said I'm full of shit and that this is all a fantasy. Don't help him. Don't give him social security. Let him die in the woods. That's pretty much my father's end of it, I guarantee. And then Alice pretended like she knew me. I bet that they called and they got Alice. Now, Alice is somebody who's never spent time with me. She's my mother's best friend, and when my mother died at age 19, she married my father and just came in and I went out. She came in and I went out. That's all. That's it. She came in and I went out. So she knows nothing of my situation. She knows nothing of my disabilities. She knows nothing of my situation. She knows nothing of my disabilities. She knows nothing. But I bet she pretended like she knew everything, told the department to fuck me over, and that's why the paperwork kept on getting refiled wrongly. Not only that, they dropped my case. Why would you do that? Why would you drop my case? So much weird shit is going on. Oh, but I gave them my father's number, so they're speaking to assholes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're not going to listen to me. They're going to listen to people who want to get me killed. That's probably it. So when I die, and Randy or Mark or Jacob, you hear this, or any other loved ones in the Newell family, or any loved ones in the Greenhouse family, or any friends in Lowell that I mail this to, know that I was killed by my mother. She's the one who crippled and did damage to my body. And then my father made sure I had no way to survive. He made sure I couldn't work. I can't collect Social Security. I can't get housing. I can't use the shelter. So he made sure of all those things with my mother. My mother and father made it so I couldn't use a shelter. Why can't I use a shelter? Because my disabilities aren't documented. Why can't I document my disabilities? Because my mother and father don't want me to, and every time I try, they get involved and fuck it up. Okay, second, why can't I collect Social Security? Because my father isn't a man of his word. He didn't get it back then. BBP Realty illegally held my mail and I couldn't reopen it. And now they closed my case because they were speaking to my father and Alice. So, of course, they fucked up and closed it because Alice and my father are speaking shit about me. I mean, they're not helping me. I need help. I need actual help. Like, if somebody calls them, the help would be, yes, Zach is telling the truth. Yes, this stuff probably really happened. Yes, Zach really needs Social Security. But you think that's what they said? No. They worked against me. They made sure I would die in the woods so they can spend all their money going out to eat and going to the beach and all this fun stuff when all I need them to do is answer a phone call correctly. That's all. They just have to be good, loving people. They have to be supportive. That's it. They didn't even have to speak to me. They just had to answer the phone and speak to the Department of Health and Human Services properly about their son. They had to be honest and they had to discuss this with me. But did they do this? No. Instead, they lied through their teeth to get me killed. Oh, great. Oh, great. Now I'm going to have to die a slow freezing death. Once again, I cannot use shelters. I have no Social Security. I cannot work. Even if I do scam a job and I start working, I get injured and people see it. Then they don't want somebody bleeding in their store. I've been pulled out of my work in ambulances as well. I can't be working until we get documentation of this. We need documentation of my disabilities. I need to be on Social Security. Then I go back to work. That's the proper process. That's what people do. They don't fucking die in the woods. They don't fall down and bleed at work. They don't fucking bleed into their testicles and hold themselves up with two canes. They don't fucking have any of this going on. And, I mean, that's the problem. I'm out of work injured again. I mean, I'm not supposed to be working in the first place, and of course I'm not. I mean, we've known for 25 years that I have problems. But nobody wants to listen to the patient. They want to feed into a dead woman's fantasies who's already admitted the dead woman fantasies. Like for instance, my mother gave me extra Ipecac as punishment. Now, she admitted to this, and what was the extra? A whole bottle. She poured the Dixie cup all the way to the top with Ipecac. That's 7 straight ounces of Ipecac. That is way too much to give any person. And she admitted to this on at least 7 occasions. At least 7 times I brought this up, and she admitted to giving me extra medication as punishments. And that wasn't the only time. Anytime she wanted to get her way, she made sure that drugs made it to my system and I would be sick in the corner. So, we know this. We know this for a fact. My mother admitted to giving me extra medicine. It isn't like I'm having to do anything special. No, my mother admitted to it. But does anybody want to listen to me? No. They want to get me killed. They want to shut me up. They want me to be in the woods and no help. They don't want me getting my Social Security. So now I have to go in the woods and die. And I'm angry. I'm in pain. I'm shaking. And I'm going to try to go to the Department of Health and Human Services for the 100th time today. And they're not going to even let me see Beth. They're going to play a game at the front desk, tell me nobody is there. And then I'm going to leave empty-handed again. Then I'm going to go to welfare and code enforcement, and they're going to tell me they can't do anything. And you know why it is? Because I got assholes lying on the phone whenever I give out their phone number. So my doctors, they got the phone number, and they said they're getting weird shit from them. Okay, so then I gave out the phone number of my father and my aunt to Department of Health and Human Services. Now, they wanted it. Department of Health and Human Services said they wanted a family member's number. They wanted, like, my father's number. I said, this is a bad idea. These people lie and manipulate. I said, they're not going to be helping me. They're going to be trying to get me killed. All they have to do is say, I'm telling the truth. Yes, his mother was acting inappropriately. Yes, he was on a lot of medications. Yes, at age 7, there might have been an overdose because we were there. and they have records of it. It's called a mysterious allergy attack to medication. And this was not. This is something important in my life that's made me disabled. But no, you think my father did any of that? Or my father could call me, tell me that the Department of Health and Human Services wants to talk to him. And I could say, oh my, I'm getting chest pains. Getting so chest pains, I'm shaking. I'm gonna be die. I can't die because of these fucking assholes' decisions. I can't. After 25 years, I can't. And I don't even use drugs. The only drug I ever did was alcohol and opiates, and that was years ago. And I've been suffering way before drugs. I was suffering at age 7, 8, 9. I mean, you could just take pictures of me. I look like a fucking dying man. I look like a dying kid. I mean, if you take the last 25 years of my life, I have always looked like an abuse victim. There was a point where they thought I was going to die because I was underweight. But you think my mother would stop the medication? No, I was about to die while I was when they said I was so underweight that I literally could die, and my mother still was shoving pills down my throat. This is not any fantasy. This is life. This is what it's like to be a foster child with a crazy mother who likes giving medications out. That's it. But my father could have called me. He could have told me the Department of Health and Human Services wants to speak to us. And then I would tell him, okay, this is what's going on. This is what, they're probably going to ask about. No, he doesn't do that. He doesn't give a fuck about me. No, he only gives a fuck about the martini in his closet. He only gives a fuck about the dry gin he has. He only gives a fuck about the next cruise he's going to take. He only gives a fuck about the new wife he just married. Oh, fuck his sons. Oh, no. I mean, now I try to reunite his other son with him so we can handle this. Oh, I get no points for that either. I had to watch my mother drinking as her liver failed. I'm not even kidding. She had 20% of her liver, and she was drinking right in front of me, and my father was allowing it. Fucking terrible shit. And now I'm supposed to just die in the woods freezing for their decisions. No, nobody else has this fucked up like this. I mean, why can't I use a shelter? Because of my mother and father's decisions, not mine. Why can't I collect Social Security? Because of my mother and father's decisions. Once again. Okay. Why can't I be in the cold? Because of my mother's and father's decisions, once again. Oh, wow. Why can't I drive? Because of my mother's and father's decisions again. No matter which way you look at it, I'm going to die because my mother and father wanted me to. They want me to die in the woods. So keep that in mind. My mother and father have made it so I'm guaranteed to die outside someplace, either on the sidewalk or in the woods. Either way, I'm guaranteed to die outside someplace and suffer for months right before. I mean, like hundreds of hospital visits, head injuries, and it's going to continue. I mean, this is so bad. I can't believe my father is trying to kill me. This is so fucked up. This is so fucked up. And I'm going to have to find a good outlet so I don't go nuts. I mean, nobody fucking can go through this in the woods. I mean, everybody else would just go to the shelter. Everybody else would just sleep in their car. But I don't have those options thanks to my father. So if you're listening to this and you go, why don't you just sleep in your car? I can't do that. My father's taken away all options of driving. I can't drive until we get a documentation of my disability. Okay, how about the shelter? Nope, the shelter will throw me out because I don't have documentation of my disability. I tried that like 20 times, and every single time that I can't move my body or I fall in the shower or any of that type of stuff, they throw me out and they won't let me back in until I have documentation of my disabilities. So I can't use shelters until a doctor gives me documentation as well. Because as soon as I have a seizure or I fall or can't move, they throw my ass out and won't let me come until doctors give me documentation. So I can't use shelters, can't use cars. Now, why am I getting thrown out of my apartment? Well, for failure to pay rent. Why don't I have money? Why don't I have any money? Why? I don't have any way to make money. All I can do is work and hurt myself, and that's what I did. And now I have internal bleeding. I have my kidneys failing, and that's all because I worked too hard. I really did. They told me not to bend, I bend. They told me not to stand up, I stood up. I mean, I've done everything I can. And from the research I've done, you're not supposed to work if you haven't seen a doctor yet and you're injured. You're supposed to go to a doctor, get a diagnosis, talk to them for whatever amount of time, get paperwork on that, and then you get your Social Security and go to work. That's the proper process for somebody like me. But my father has made sure that that will never happen. And don't forget, he made a deal to make sure I would keep my Social Security. Still to this day, he's still backing down on his deal. He's still a fucking liar. He lied to me. He looked me straight in the eye and lied through his teeth. He said he would act like a father and do everything he could to have me get Social Security as long as I bailed him out and didn't sign the paperwork so he wouldn't have to go to court. Now, what would have happened if I didn't do that? I would have got 980 times 12. So, and that's not it. I would have kept my Social Security too. Because we went to court, I'm sure they would have had me go back to the program, and I probably, in the program, helps you apply for your Social Security. So if my father did not steal from me, I would have been in the program, I would have learned how to use my Social Security, and they also help these people keep their Social Security. They have 2 other people who they already helped with it. This program is designed for either people who work or people on Social Security. And if you're on Social Security, they teach you how to reapply. They have somebody work with you. They have somebody drive you. They have a mailing address. They have everything you need. But my father stole the Social Security that was supposed to go to my rent. Then he also lied about helping me keep it. Then he totally just threw me in the woods as soon as he found his wife to remarry. And then that wife he remarried likes to pretend like she knows the situation. So that way she misleads any help I've tried to get. I'm 31 years old, and every single time I try to get help, my father runs in and somehow I get hit by a bag of rocks that he put there. Every time I try to get help, I get hit with a bag of rocks that my mother and father left for me, right in the face. I mean, it's almost like he's just giving me the middle finger for 25 years. I mean, when am I going to actually get a life? When can I live my life? Because I can't go to a shelter. I can't live in a car. I can't live in an apartment. I can't collect my Social Security. I can't work. How in the fuck am I supposed to stay alive? Huh? How do you stay alive when somebody has totally made sure that there is no options for you? I have no choices. It's not like I'm doing anything. I have no choices. There is nothing I can do. That's what aggravates me so much. I think about stuff I can do, like, oh, let's go to the Department of Health and Human Services. Oh, no, my father fucked that one up. Okay, let's go to welfare. Oh, wait, they fucked that one up. Okay, let's go to Social Security. Nope, they fucked that one up. Let's go to work. Oh, no, I'm injured and they fucked me up. Okay, let's live in a car. Oh, wait, I can't drive because my father fucked me up. Oh, man, no matter which way I try to go, I'm gonna run into my father's shit, and he's only the one continuing it. My mother was the one actually destroying my body and drugging me. My father's the one who fucked up Social Security and acted greedy and selfish. So, what am I supposed to do, huh? I guess I'm supposed to die in the fucking woods.